let's talk about the highest rated books on my physical TBR. Alright, hello guys. As I told you in the last video, I will be doing a series of videos about my TBR. You guys have already seen my TBR cart. If not, I'll share that video down below if I remember, because I'm bad about that. But I need to talk about the highest rated books on my TBR. Now, you're seeing this, and I know you're anticipating there will be another video. You are correct. Let me tell you though, I'm more excited about the books on the other video than in this video, even though these are the highest rated books on my TBR. So these might be the ones that you guys are excited to figure out. Now, in this one, I've actually done this in a way that it's, if I own the book, it's on this list. But if I own it in any form, it's on this list. So there will be some ebooks, there will be some audiobooks, there will be some physical books. I do own all of these books in some form or fashion, but it might not be physically. And that might explain why I haven't read them yet. Because if it's ebook, I have a tendency to not read it because I forget my Kindle exists. Just like with the last one, I'm gonna go from the lowest of the highest to the highest rated book on my TBR. That would be The Sparrow in the Oak Tree by Jamie Jackson, coming in at a 4.4. 4.4! Self-pub, this is in SPFBO. I don't know if it's still in the competition, but I know that this is a book I want to read. Why do I know that this is a book I want to read? It's because I read Jamie Jackson before. Now, I would encourage all of you to get onto Jamie Jackson's TikTok and watch all of her videos about The Sparrow in the Oak Tree, because they're what intrigued me. I needed to know what this book was that she was talking about. And maybe I'll find one and link it below, because that is what spoke to me. But basically, Fae Outside the Courts, that's intriguing to me. I don't have the book physically to give you a synopsis, so I'm just kind of going off what I know. Also, strong female main character, Tristan and Isolde retelling. Do you need more? Do you need more? Because I will definitely link one of her TikTok videos down below so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, because the videos themselves are absolutely fantastic, and it'll make you want to read the book too, as long as you like romance. So the next book, the next highest rated, also coming in at a 4.4, would be The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. Why am I not holding the book up? Because I don't know what I did with it. I don't know where I put it. I've lost it. Oh, I found it. She was hiding in my TBR cart, guys. She was hiding in my TBR cart, guys. Okay, Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. This is actually on my current TBR. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I just haven't. But yeah, it's on my current TBR. Need to get to it. Need to finish out this series before I forget what happens in the City of Brass. But there she is. And I will likely get to this in November. Basically, I've got something coming in November will help me get through the books that are on my TBR cart. But this is the second book in the Daevabad trilogy. There are some short stories that have been added, so it's still a trilogy with companion novellas or something like that. But I loved the first book, and it is about a girl who, let me just read the first paragraph of this because I don't think it gives any spoilers. Nari's life changed forever the moment she accidentally summoned a mysterious djinn whisked from her home in Cairo. She's thrust into the dazzling royal court of Daevabad, now entrenched in the dark aftermath of a devastating battle, and quickly discovered she would need all of her gifter instincts to survive. So, it's a very well-loved series, very, very well-loved series, and I just need to finish it. Next would be the Sherlockian book we are all waiting for that actually already has ratings, so I assume that there have been arcs that have gone out, but I couldn't resist putting it on this list because it is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I almost said R.J. Barker because I wrote R.J.B. But yeah, by Robert Jackson Bennett. If you guys have been around for any amount of time, you'll know I love Robert Jackson Bennett. There is Foundry Side right there. I have started the City of Stairs, that series. I really enjoy Robert Jackson Bennett's writing, and so whenever I heard Robert Jackson Bennett and Sherlock mentioned in the same vein, I had to know, and I'm so excited to get to this book. I do have this as a NetGalley arc, so that is why it is being added to this list, because I own it. So one that I own on audio, oh, and The Tainted Cup comes in at a 4.41. The next one that I own in audio is In the Shadow of Lightning by Brian McClellan. And I've started a Brian McClellan book too, and then didn't finish it. I'm not doing so great with my NFN piles, guys. Not so great. But In the Shadow of Lightning, I've heard very mixed things. And I think that if you go into this book as the first Brian McClellan that you read, it's good. If you read it on the heels of something else that he wrote, not so great. So I think I need to read this before I read Promise of Blood, and that's probably why I haven't read Promise of Blood yet, because I'm like, oh, I should read In the Shadow of Lightning, and then I'm like, oh, do I want to read In the Shadow of Lightning? Because I keep hearing such mixed things about it. So this is probably where my back and forth with Promise of Blood is coming from. I just want to be completely honest with you guys. Like, I have it in audio form though. I just need to get around to reading it or Promise of Blood, one or the other, so that I can call it good. But this is one of the most highest rated books on my TBR, coming in at a 4.42. So maybe the people I follow are crazy and this is actually a really good book. I don't know. We'll see. Next would be another audio I own, and I can't tell you how many times I have been hounded to read this trilogy because it haunts me. Like, everyone is like, why haven't you read this yet? It's completely up your alley. Everything that you say you like is in this book. Even the author himself has hounded me, and that was a while ago, but like I own the trilogy on audio and haven't read it yet. Haven't listened to it. Paternus by Dirk Ashton. Now, this is immortal gods and mortals battling it out. And you guys know that is a trope I absolutely love. I love urban fantasy, so I should really be drawn to this because it is urban fantasy, just with high stakes and gods going at it with mortals, and Clash of the Titans in a modern setting is kind of what I'm getting from this. But I haven't read it yet. I've been hounded for a long time to read this. And you know, I picked up Rob J. Hayes instead of Dirk Ashton, and I kind of regret that decision. We'll talk about that some other time. But, you know, I had the two trilogies and went with Rob J. Hayes first. Next, I won These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs from Goodreads. So I own the ebook of this. I definitely want a physical copy, especially after watching Caitlin's review of it, because I need it. It definitely sounds like some Megan E. O'Keefe type stuff, and you guys know how much I love Megan E. O'Keefe. Some Essa Hansen type stuff. I love Essa Hansen. So These Burning Stars comes in at a 4.39. Now, I don't know if this is a fair rating because it's so new. It's a baby. It's brand new. But I am adding the Tainted Cup, so I felt like I should probably add These Burning Stars because they're both fairly new. The ratings will change. They will. But it's coming in at a 4.39. Okay, 4.42. I don't know how this got onto my 5th highest rated because I did it based off of what Goodreads says. So this is probably at number 10 as opposed to number 5. Could be that this one has more ratings than the other ones do, but I don't see how that is possible. Anyway, I'm dying to read These Burning Stars, and I really want to go get a physical copy and the audio, even though I won the ebook, or maybe I will just do the audio because I own the ebook and then just do the immersion read that way. But I love to immersive read stuff like this because whenever I get into fantasy or sci-fi that's a little complex, I like listening to it while I'm reading because my ADHD won't get distracted by all of the details, but hearing it audibly, I'll take in more information than I would just reading it with my eyeballs. So it works out. And the next one would be Sea of Souls by Nc Scrimger. And if you guys have been around for any amount of time, you will know I love Nc's Waystations trilogy. I believe that's what it's called. Now I'm going to forget the name of the first book because I kept trying to correct myself with Those Once Forgotten. Those Left Behind. So Those Left Behind was in SPSFC 2, one of my favorites of the entire competition, and so I have recently started Those Once Forgotten. Did have to set it aside because my brain said no sci-fi, we don't want it, but I'm still very excited to go back to it and finish it, and then we have a Selkie story from Nc Scrimger, and that's what Sea of Souls is. I've heard nothing but good things from everyone who has picked this up, and it comes in at a whopping 4.46. 4.46. Now we're getting into Sanderson level ratings here with Sea of Souls, and I'm just very, very excited, very, very excited to pick up something else by her. And I'm really excited for a Selkie story because there's not very many of those around. And the last time I read a Selkie story was Laurel K. Hamilton, so that lets you know how long ago that was. And yeah, just very excited to be reading more from her. The last three, or the highest rated I have physically. Back to historical fiction, The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. If you guys have been around, or if you've been taking part in my Patreon, saw my sample video, you'll probably know that I have drawn this once before, but I drew it on the heels of another Kate Quinn book and decided I really didn't want to read Kate Quinn back to back because she has a tendency to stick with World War II as her era. And I'm not the biggest fan of World War II historical fiction to begin with. Yes, The Nightingale is one of my favorite historical fictions of all time, but I feel like it's a time period that has been overdone. And as you guys saw with the books that were on my TBR for the longest, it's not the era I gravitate towards. I really love Tudors and Renaissance type stuff. And this is another World War II. By Kate Quinn, and this would be my third World War II book by Kate Quinn that I have read. So the one that I was going to read this on the heels of, though, was set in Rome. So there is some variation in what she writes, but I consider giving this one up. But it comes in also at a 4.46, and I loved the Alice Network. I liked The Huntress. And I feel like I could probably love this too. I really don't want to read anything about World War II. So this is going to definitely have to be a mood read for me. And then coming in at a 4.53, we have Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Now, Barbara Kingsolver is the lady who got me into reading in the first place. So my mom worked at a bookstore. She was always trying to get me to read, was never interested. Read a little bit of horror, dabbled in like the Fear Street and stuff like that. That's all I would read, not interested in anything else. Went to high school. My teacher assigned us The Bean Trees by Barbara Kingsolver. Never looked back. I was a reader of multiple genres from there on out, and Demon Copperhead is Barbara Kingsolver's latest, and this is a take on a modern day David Copperfield. So I'm very excited to see what Barbara Kingsolver does with it, and I've heard nothing but great things. My book is upside down. How did that happen? Like, how did you get your dust jacket upside down? Anyway, so I have been intrigued by this for such a long time just because it is one of my favorite authors, the author that got me into reading other things than horror, my Goosebumps, my Fear Street, all that stuff, R.L. Stine. And so, yeah, it's been really hard for me to pick up literary works too. So it's kind of why I've set this one aside until I'm in the mood for it. But literary, historical, some of that stuff, kind of I have to be in the mood for. So, but still want to read it really badly. Like I said, heard nothing but great things. And with that rating, like on Goodreads, holy cow. And then coming in at a 4.6, the highest rated book on my current physical TBR, or current TBR books that I own. No Port in a Storm by Cal Black. I'm dying to get to this one. I love Millie. You guys have heard about her all year, I'm sure. And I've been dying to get to this one. I am going to be taking a little bit of a break, not necessarily for BookTube, but my reading, I've hit my 100 books almost. I'm 2 books away. And when I get there, I'm slowing down and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read this no matter how long it takes me because I really want the rest of Millie's story. So I understand why this is the highest rated book on my TBR, because I thought No Land for Heroes was great, and I'm expecting so much more from this one because of what I've heard. I know Andrew from Wizardly Reads really loved it. I know my friend Tessa really loved it. Everyone that I know that has read this has said it is amazing, and it deserves that 4.6 rating on Goodreads. So, Millie, I will come back. I promise you I will come back. I am dying to read you and be a part of your life again. And I need it. I need it in my life. So very, very much looking forward to this one. All right, that is it for my highest rated books on my TBR. I will see you guys in my next video. Also remember that I now am a Pango ambassador, so if you'd like $5 off of your first Pango book, then check out my links down below so that you can get that $5 off. Bye!